first crack in the wall of silence has been made, but it wasn't a crack of comfort. It was a chasm of accusation. Eliphaz, with his subtle suggestions of hidden sin, opened the floodgates. Now, two more voices rise, each more unyielding than the last, convinced of a simple truth. If you suffer, you must have sinned. How does Job respond when his supposed comforters become his fiercest accusers? After Eliphaz's veiled suggestions, it was Bildad the Shuhite's turn. He wasted no time with gentle persuasion. Bildad's words were direct, almost brutal, reflecting a rigid, uncompromising theology. God is just, absolutely just, and therefore suffering is always a consequence of sin. He implies that even Job's deceased children met their fate due to their own transgressions. How long will you go on saying such things? Your words are a blustering wind. Does God pervert justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is right? When your children sinned against him, he gave them over to the penalty of their sin. But if you will seek God earnestly and plead with the Almighty, if you are pure and upright, even now he will rouse himself on your behalf and restore you to your prosperous state. Bildad's message was clear. Job's suffering, and even the tragedy of his children, was the direct result of sin. Repent, be pure, and God will restore. It was a simple logical equation in their eyes, one that left no room for the inexplicable. He offered a harsh path to redemption, built on the assumption of Job's guilt. Bildad's uncompromising logic only deepened Job's despair and frustration. He acknowledged God's immense power, his sovereignty over all creation, but how could a mere mortal, even a righteous one, contend with such might? How could he argue his case when God seemed so distant, so powerful, and so seemingly intent on his destruction? Indeed, I know that this is true. But how can a mortal be righteous before God? Though I am blameless, I cannot answer him. I can only plead for mercy from my accuser. If I summoned him and he answered me, I do not believe he would listen to my voice. For he crushes me with a tempest and multiplies my wounds without cause. He will not let me regain my breath, but overwhelms me with bitterness. Job felt attacked, not just by his friends, but by God himself. He saw God's hand in his suffering, not as a test, but as an inexplicable, crushing assault. How could he argue his innocence against a divine adversary who was all-powerful and beyond human comprehension? He longed for a mediator, a judge between himself and God, but found none. He knew his own integrity, yet felt utterly powerless against the accusations of both men and God. As Job's cries of innocence grew, so too did his friend's impatience. Zophar the Naamathite, the third friend, now stepped forward, his accusations even more direct and cutting. He dismissed Job's claims of righteousness as mere empty talk, suggesting that Job was not only guilty but was also deliberately hiding his sin, and even worse, deserved more punishment than he had received. Are all these words to go unanswered? Is this talker to be vindicated? You say, "My doctrine is pure, and I am clean in your sight." Oh, that God would speak, that he would open his lips against you and disclose to you the secrets of wisdom. For true wisdom has two sides. Know this, God has forgotten some of your sin. Can you fathom the mysteries of God? Can you probe the limits of the Almighty? They are higher than the heavens. What can you do? They are deeper than the depths of the grave. What can you know? Zophar's message was scathing. Job was an arrogant fool, claiming innocence while harboring secret iniquity. His suffering, far from being unjust, was a lenient sentence from a merciful God who held back some of the punishment Job truly deserved. The implication was clear. Job needed to confess and repent, not complain and question. The debate was no longer a conversation of comfort. It had become an intellectual and theological battlefield. Job's friends, trapped in their rigid worldview, could not conceive of a righteous God allowing an innocent man to suffer so profoundly. Their theology demanded a cause and effect justice. If there is suffering, there must be sin. Their empathy, if it ever existed, had completely eroded, replaced by a zealous defense of their simplified understanding of divine justice. For Job, each pronouncement from his friends drove him further into isolation. was not only suffering physical and emotional torment, but was now subjected to the crushing weight of false accusations. His comforters had become his tormentors, building a wall of judgment between him and any hope of understanding or solace. The debate wasn't just intensifying, it was spiraling, pushing Job to the brink, forcing him to confront not only his pain, but also the profound misunderstanding of those he once considered his closest allies. The escalating tension as Job's comforters transform into his accusers forces us to grapple with a fundamental human tendency, to seek simplistic answers for profound suffering. It's easier to blame the victim, to fit pain into a neat theological box, to confront the mystery of inexplicable sorrow. But Job, despite the relentless barrage, refuses to yield his integrity. His friend's logic is unyielding, but so too is Job's defiance. How long can he withstand this onslaught? And where will he turn when even his friends offer no refuge, only judgment? Join us next time for Job's Defiance, a plea for divine audience, as Job takes an astonishing stand, daring to challenge God himself. If this episode resonated with your own experiences of seeking understanding amidst judgment, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more insights into Job's profound journey. How do you think we should respond when our traditional beliefs are shattered by painful reality? Share your thoughts in the comments below.